My name is Terry.
And my name is Chuck.
Hey everybody, looks like you're back again for some more fun. But before we get straight into it, we would just like to say if you have any suggestions of any kind, what you would like to see more of on the show, just hit us up in the comments section. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we would really appreciate it if you could do that for us.
Damn fucking straight.
Anyhow, let's get into it and check out some memes and funny pictures that we have found.
Now, Chuck, how do you feel about artwork and sculptures?
Well, Terry, I actually think art is great. There are so many talented people out there that do some amazing things.
Alright then, Chuck, give me an opinion on this little piece.
Well, there are two things that come to my mind straight away. One, is this man being celebrated for something coming out, Terry? Or is it more likely that something's going in?
Either way, Chuck, I highly doubt you could ever ride a bike again.
At least if you was on a plane and it was going down, you could use your own ass as a parachute.
Imagine if your friends invited you to come play basketball, and they only invited you because they didn't have a hoop to play with.
Well, your mama's invited everyone in the cul-de-sac to come round for a pool party, so you go get your bathers on, and then she informs you that you're the pool.
Definitely not a pool I'd like to swim in.
All right, I've got one for you, Terry. What do you think about this?
Jesus fucking Christ, I have never seen anything so fucking terrifying in all my life. I mean, sure, waking up next to Bill Cosby is scary, but Jesus, you just know it's gonna come to life and murder everyone in the house.
When I first seen this thing, I thought, spending $40 on a doll that I don't know the flavor of, and has no best before date on the tin, probably isn't the best idea.
The exact same thing applies to certain dolls I pick up on Friday night, am I right, Chuck?
You definitely have, Terry. You've had a few of those well past their expiry dates, if you know what I mean.
But in all honesty, since first seeing this fucking thing, I have hidden can openers all around the fucking house, waiting for its arrival. I'll put this fucking thing down, Chuck. And if you're watching this Campbell Soup boy, I will fuck you up.
Terry going old gangster and shit. Speaking of fucked up, remember when this whole COVID lockdown thing came in and was all sitting at home and was only allowed to leave our houses to go shopping for essentials?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Chuck, because the next photo reminds me exactly of all the hard times that we've had lately. Emphasis on the hard.
Oh, Jesus.
Looks as though she's going to do some house repairs.
How do you figure that, Terry?
Well, it's the only reason I'd be buying a hammer that big.
Some could say that she has gone to pretty big lengths to make sure she keeps busy during lockdown.
Yeah, massive lengths.
Now, I think we all know someone with a bad tattoo, am I right, Terry?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Well, here's one I found that I think you might just like.
Now that's a bad case of crabs, am I right?
Yeah, I don't think cream treatment will remove this from your body.
All right, now I got a story about a tattoo if you want to hear it.
All right then, Terry, hit me.
Well, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was back in the 70s. I had a massive B.B. King collection. I was his #1 fan. And my girlfriend at the time decided for my birthday that because I liked B.B. King so much, she would get his initials on each one of her ass cheeks. I got home from work and she told me, I got a present for you. So I said, what is it? She sat me down in the chair and said, I'll be back in a moment. She came back a little while later, only wearing a towel. She took off the towel and bent over to show me her new tattoo.
What happened then, Terry?
Well, I just took one look and kicked her straight out the fucking house.
What? Why would you do that?
Well, even after 10 years of a beautiful relationship, she thought it would be a good idea for my birthday to go get a tattoo of the name of some guy written across her ass.
Yeah, but she did it for your birthday.
Well, I don't really care because I don't know anyone with the name Bob.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, Terry. That's definitely some fucking funny shit.
Yeah. All right then, Chuck. How about one more before we get to our weird what-the-fuck news stories?
Okay, how about this one? Now, this is exactly the face I made when I shit myself at the Christmas party last year.
Well, this is the kind of face that you pull when you're caught jacking off. And you're into your vinegar strokes, so you look them dead in the eye and finish.
Or the face you pull when you're in Thailand and take on what you believe is a 10, but then they flop out a 10 of their own. And then you realize you've been making out with them all night. the face of regret.
Well, speaking of being caught out by things, what about the time you was pulled over by the cops? Tell everybody that story. It's one of my favorites.
Well, it was a few months back, and I'd been at the pub all night. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I was driving home, and the cop pulled me over and asked if I'd been drinking. So I told him I'd been at the pub all night, and I had been drinking. He said, well, while you're being so truthful and honest, is there anything else that you would like to be truthful about tonight? I said to the cop, well, as a matter of fact, I have the dead body of my boyfriend in the trunk, and I have a shotgun under my seat that I used to kill him with, and under the spare tire I have 1 kilogram of cocaine. The cop pulled his fucking gun and told me not to move, while he called for backup. In about 5 minutes, the other cops arrived, and the sheriff got out, and the cop walked up to him and told him, I have a dead boyfriend in the trunk, a shotgun under my seat, and 1 kilo of cocaine under my spare tire. The sheriff walked straight up to me with his gun drawn and said, do you have your dead boyfriend's body in the trunk? I said, no, I fucking don't. I'm not even gay. Why would you think that, sir? As I showed him a picture of my wife and kids. He said, do you in fact have a shotgun hidden under your seat? I said, sir, I've never even held a gun in my life, as I showed him my anti-gun association card. He said, well, the deputy there says there is 1 kilo of cocaine in under the spare tire. I looked the fucking sheriff straight in the eye, and I said, oh, what other lies has he told you? I suppose he said I was fucking drink driving as well. Needless to say, he checked under the trunk and under the seat, and I was sent on my way. I'm pretty sure that cop ended up with a job down the glory hole making $10 a pop.
I know for a fact that he's working down there. I think I gave him like $60. Anyway, I love that story. It reminds me of when we were kids. We would call the police from a payphone and pretend that we were drunk and tell them we was drink driving, crashed through a fence, ran over a cat, and may have hit an old lady while she was knitting in her rocking chair. And the police would say, all right, mate, whereabouts are you? And we would laugh and say, wouldn't you like to fucking know, and hang up.
I forgot all about that, Terry.
Oh, yes, they were the days.
All right, so who's up for What the Fuck News?
Now, this new story is absolutely devastating for one man. We hope you're ready to cry, because this new story is just about the saddest one we can imagine. This man is too afraid to buy his weekly Twix bar because the packaging now has a ghost on it. It's absolutely tragic that this terrifying imagery is keeping him from his once beloved snack. Glenn Wheeler of Pittsburgh used to eagerly anticipate the after-work candy bar he'd been buying himself as a treat every Friday afternoon. But unfortunately, what was once a joyful ritual has turned into a gauntlet of horrors, as the Twix he loves so much is now packaged in a wrapper depicting a ghastly ghost with an evil grin on its undead face. This nightmare began 3 weeks ago when Glenn went to the candy aisle and reached for his typical Twix. As soon as he looked down at what he had just grabbed, he let out a strangled scream, nearly dropping the candy bar as he looked into the black eyes of the shadowy wraith on the wrapper. Rather than just choose a different sweet to buy, Glenn ran out of the store and drove straight home, locking his door behind him as the visions of the devilish ghost danced in his mind. Never in my life have I experienced terror like I did the moment I laid eyes on the vile hellhound that now haunts the Twix bar, Glenn said. Instead of a mouth-watering sensation I normally get when I pick out my favorite candy, I felt a cold chill run through me, and I knew that the Twix ghost would stalk me into my dying day if I so much as bought the bar near my home. The candy is no longer safe. It took another 2 weeks before Glenn worked up the courage to enter his local store again, and sadly, he met with a similar fate when he began to browse the chocolates and was greeted with images of spiders, witches, and howling jack-o'-lanterns, not just on the Twix bars, though, but on almost every candy he could possibly have chosen as a snack. More terrified than ever, Glenn swore off the store location, reasoning that it must be haunted. However, his expedition to a Walgreens and a Kroger grocer only terrified him further, as he was stalked by the image of the ghost at every turn. Now Glenn has gone almost a month without enjoying a candy bar, and he does not know when he might get to eat another one again. It's just so awful. We are so devastated to hear about what has happened to this poor man. No one wants to experience utter horror when they're just trying to buy a snack. But apparently that it is the reality for some good luck, Glenn. We are rooting for you.
That is just absolutely terrifying, Terry. Gave me goosebumps all over. Ugh.
Thanks, Chuck. I just wanted viewers to realize how hard some people have it.
Sometimes the reality of life is hard. Like the man in my story today, this one would pull at all the heartstrings of many. Now I must warn all you viewers, this one is absolutely heartbreaking. If you were hoping to hear some uplifting news today, please look elsewhere, because one resident of Houston, Texas is going through right now is as depressing as it gets. This man just discovered that the dog-faced Instagram filter works on his penis, but he doesn't have anyone in his life who we can show it to. Earlier today, Leonard Fuller, 34, had been nude and fooling around with Instagram filters when he made an utterly joyful discovery. The filter that put on dog's ears, nose, and tongue on your face somehow worked on his penis. But tragically, Leonard's delight was cut short when he realized that there was no person he felt close enough with to send his dog-faced cock to. As the digital dog tongue playfully unspooled from the head of his penis, Leonard went through a mental phone book of everyone in his life and could not think of one single person who it would be appropriate to show this gleeful finding. He had no significant other, no friend with a raunchy sense of humor, no pets, no one acquainted he could send this hilarious photo of his penis to without it being considered sexual harassment and disturbingly out of character for him. At that moment, Leonard had never felt more alone in his entire life. Leonard hesitated to delete the looping video he recorded, watching the perky dog face move wherever his penis moved, and he desperately pondered a scenario in which it would make sense to share this with another person. He even considered booking a physical with his doctor, who'd be seeing his penis during the appointment anyway, and seemed to be a generally upbeat person who might get a kick out of seeing a patient's penis ran through an augmented reality filter. He also wondered if the IT guy at his office would be interested in seeing it, purely from a tech perspective, given that someone that works with computers could certainly appreciate the technical intricacies involved in Instagram mistaking a flaccid penis for a human face. But after running through each and every single scenario in his head, Leonard sadly recognized that sharing his digital dog penis with anyone who didn't regularly see his penis would be a weird thing to do. And that tragically, there was nobody in his life who saw his penis regularly. Were any of Leonard's family, friends, or co-workers to see this photo, their first thought would be, Jesus Christ, that's Leonard's dick. Instead of, oh, wonderful, how delightful it is to see that Instagram filter work on a penis. My life is a little better thanks to this small joy that Leonard was kind enough to share with me. What a great guy. Leonard ultimately deleted the video wistfully, accepting that the sight of his penis with a dog face would be something he'd have to enjoy in private and as a memory known only to him. Oh, I just want to give this man a hug right now. It can't be easy being in your mid-30s, single, and not close enough with anyone who'd appreciate a nude photo of your penis with an animal's face digitally affixed to it. Hopefully Leonard eventually meets someone he can share a humorous photo of his penis with and recapture the magic that filled him with such glee today. What else is life for? Hang in there, buddy.
That man don't need a hug. That man needs to grow a bigger set of balls. I send pictures of that nature to my grandma.
Oh, so do I, Terry. Your Nana does enjoy a good crotch shot.
Let's check out our stoner meme of the day.
Remember the time that we got so baked? We searched for our friend for half an hour while he helped us look.
I remember I was so high once I bought shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, Chuck, but I was tripping all day.
Remember the time we were so baked we was walking along the train track, and I turned and I said to you, this staircase is way too fucking long.
Then I said to you, I don't mind the stairs, but why do they have to make the handrails so fucking low?
All right then, Terry. It appears that we're nearly out of time for today, but first we have our What the Fuck Fun Fact. What the Fuck Fun Fact number 2139. In 1965, a 4-year-old nearly drowned at a beach, but was rescued by a woman named Alice Blaze. 9 years later, that boy saved a man at the same beach, and that man turned out to be Alice's husband.
Isn't that just fucking amazing?
Absolutely legendary.
I remember I dived into a pool once to rescue a man, but he put his tongue in my fucking mouth when I was giving him CPR.
And now just look at us today, best friends doing a show together.
Good one, Chuck.
Oh well, it's been a pleasure once again. If you like the show and haven't subscribed yet, please do and help us out.
Stay stoned, motherfuckers.
Hey, that's my fucking line.
See you for the next one.